Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and I'm joined as always by
BC.
And our keyboard player today is
Dylan.
Now, you notice I said today because we are actually recording on Labor Day in the United States. So happy Labor Day, everybody out there, for all of you that do labor. And so we're doing an early thing here. And, of course, I want to apologize to everybody in northeastern Pennsylvania because we're recording today. And, of course, it's fucking raining out. Drink your beer indoors today, people. Welcome back. What's going on, guys? BC, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, the usual. Working, and trying to listen to as much tunes as I can, but same old.
How are you, Dylan? What's happening?
No, not too much.
Wow, that was eloquent.
Just the same old. Listen, it's 9:00 in the morning.
Is it 9?
It's
it is. Just about 9. Yeah, which is very early for us. Sometimes
early.
we're getting started at 9 at night, but we did have a nice
long
breakfast
weekend,
this morning together.
Yeah.
So, all right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for interacting with us out there, sharing us, and pretty much being cool out there. And we appreciate you guys listening to us. We hope you would recommend us to your friends and give us a good recommendation on Facebook. That's available. You can, if you give us a review on iTunes, a 5-star would be awesome because that puts us out there with other podcasts and gets us out there a little better. And Podchaser is a great place to leave a review and check out our podcast and a bunch of they have a bunch of interactive ways and things you can do things with different podcasts on there, and we're on there, so a good plug on there would be great also.
And actually, I think we got a new one too.
Do we?
Yeah, I think we got a new review just recently. Yeah, it looks like we got one 19 hours ago from Doug Middleton.
Oh, read it.
Found this podcast via Grown Up Rock. Love it.
Thanks, Sonny and Steven.
Yeah, thank you. That's the second person in a row that found us through Grown Up Rock, so that's good that the podcasts are spreading other podcasts around.
That's right. And for you guys out there that have not listened to Grown Up Rock podcast, check those guys out. Our brothers Sonny and Steven out there. We had Sonny on last week's episode, right?
Yeah, I think it was last week's. They all blur
we sometimes we have a couple in the bank, so
still too early yet.
We're not. I'm not sure where
I think
the one we recorded last week is going to fall. So, all right, guys. Before we get rocking and rolling here, what do you listen to? BC, what do you listen to these days?
I'm still listening to Spread Eagle.
Still, you're on the kick.
Won't come out of the player, but that's probably going to change this afternoon because I got to prepare for Thursday.
Thursday. Oh, what are we doing Thursday, BC? Go ahead. I forgot about that.
We're going to see Demons and Wizards, the ultimate band from wherever they're from.
Well, it's got some of the guys from Iced Earth in it, so that's good.
I've heard of bands. I mean, I've heard the music.
Well, who are we really going to see?
TYR, TRY, or what's it?
TYR. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's another name for Thor.
And then there's another band on the bill, Lizzie Borden. So we're going to check them out, see if they're any good.
They're new, yeah.
They're new bands.
We've never talked about them on this podcast, so we saw them on this bill, so we figured we'd go check them out.
Give them a shot.
And I got to say, neither of us have seen Lizzie Borden before, so it's kind of cool that we're getting to finally see Lizzie Borden, one of our bucket list bands. But BC, I just got to say, I'm glad I'm able to see them the first time with you.
Excited to see him, period. Oof, I don't know.
BC's he's gonna be so excited he's gonna have the runs or something like that, and he's not gonna be able to go.
I'll just get the pins and wear them Monday.
He enthusiastically gets out of the car and face
plants. Trip to the emergency room in New York City. Why? Yeah, so we're going to see Demons and Wizards, Lizzie Borden, and Tyr at the PlayStation Theater on Thursday, September 5th. Well, we have already seen it by the time you guys are listening to this.
That's an awesome venue.
It is a great venue. Yeah, we saw King Diamond there twice, and we saw someone else there too. I forget who else we saw.
Did you guys see Metal Allegiance there?
No.
They played
I forget who, but we have been there before. It's a really
PlayStation
cool,
theater
great
back
thing.
then, I think.
Yeah. Is it the
Blockbuster.
No, it's not Blockbuster.
It used to be.
When?
In the 90s?
No. When the first time King Diamond played.
Was it Blockbuster? I don't know.
I don't think it was Blockbuster Theater.
Google it.
I don't know.
I think
We'll have to look that up. It was something different. So it was the Best Buy
Best Buy,
Theater.
Best Buy,
Theater.
sorry. Best Buy.
Yeah, not
All
Blockbuster.
right, I got
Well,
my
it wasn't in the
beat.
90s.
Hey, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, damn it.
Yeah, it was the Best Buy Theater,
Best
but
Buy,
it is now
okay.
the PlayStation Theater.
And it was
right?
also
Now it's PlayStation.
it's PlayStation currently, and it was also Nokia Theater, Times Square.
Okay, all right.
So-
So we'll be in Times Square. We're doing our BB's going with us. Our buddy Chris Granz is going with us. It's going to be a good time. So, Dylan,
Yes.
what are you listening to?
I Apple
Kind of
Music,
forgot we were doing this.
Apple Music finally released a couple of Nirvana's live albums on their platform, so I was listening to those, Live at the Paramount and Live and Loud.
Bet that sounds like shit.
No, it actually sounds pretty good. It's good recordings, and they're actually on point. But the one good Nirvana live album that I really love is Live at Reading. Really good. And actually, it's really funny because when they come on stage, there was like big rumors of Kurt Cobain being in poor health and like being on death's door. So they wheel him out on a wheelchair and like he like gets out and he like kind of crawls to the microphone and like sings a couple verses and then collapses on stage. And he wears like a hospital gown the entire show. So it's pretty funny.
It is kind of weird to hear the sentence "good Nirvana live album."
There's an energy to it that works.
Maybe I'll listen to a song. Do they do it in Bloom?
Yeah. of course
Maybe I'll
they do
listen
in
to that.
Blue.
I like that song.
Yeah.
All right, and me, I was really checking out. I was in a mood for just some kind of gritty, grungy kind of hard rock stuff. Nothing too fancy, just good, just good, dirty rock. And so I was flipping through my library, and I'm like, hey, fuck it. I threw on Junkyard. I played their self-titled album from I think it was 1989. I think that came out, and then I listened to their album that came out in 2017, High Water. Just a great band to just throw on. There's really no skippers on either one of these albums. It's just like great grungy rock. I love the song on High Water. We Fuck Like We Fight. Just a fucking fantastic song. The middle part in it is just like you listen to it and it's like kind of like a talking part, but it's so cool. Just so check that out, you guys. Check out Junkyard. Listen to the first album. They got a couple other ones in between that are really good too, but those are the two I was really checking out. And Dylan, Dave Borowski will be glad to hear that I checked out the new Tool album.
Yep, Fear Inoculum.
And as you guys out there know, this is a band I just did not resonate with me. I was anti, and because of my ignorance of it, because I never really gave it a chance, because I wasn't going to go out and buy the albums before checking them out, but they're on streaming now. So I checked out the new one on Apple Music the other day, and I fucking liked it. It was good. I mean, you have to be in the mood for that kind of stuff, I think. But I was definitely in the mood to check it out and give it a shot, and I enjoyed it. The songs are long. If you were, I know, Sonny will hate it, and there's a lot of, because I posted something on my Facebook page. Is it worth checking out? And I got some people, yes, go for it, and some people, no, it sucks. So it's they're a kind of a niche band. I think that you either love them or hate them. So I'm just I'm on the ground floor now with the new album. So I have to maybe listen to some other stuff. So so check out BC's still rocking a spread eagle, but that's going to change today because he's got to brush up on his
midnight things.
Demons and Wizards in tier. And maybe that Lizzie Borden, whoever she is. So he's got Spread Eagle going. Dylan's got some Nirvana Live going. I've got some Junkyard. Guys, check out Junkyard if you haven't. They fucking kick ass. If you're looking for something different, check out the new Tool album. It is different, but it's produced really well. I liked it. I'm gonna have to give it. I only listened to it once, so maybe I'll hate it the second time around, but I did enjoy it. And before we get into our main event for this episode, we'll take a quick break and do some news. All right, a couple interesting tidbits in the news this week, and this comes as no great surprise, department. James Durbin has departed Quiet Riot, and just like the last guy, right before the new album came out that he recorded, this time, however, they are not going to re-record the vocals on this because Frankie Banelli said it's already in production. So if that was the case, he would have to buy all that, destroy them, and then, studio time and, whatever. The replacement is who, BC?
Jizzy Pearl, from the Love-Hate days and Rat.
Quiet Riot days.
Quiet Riot before, and somebody else, right? I'm drawing a blank. He does some solo. His last solo album to me was, that was a surprise. Not a surprise, but.
It was kind of surprise. It was, you thought it was going to be good, but it was way better than you thought it would be.
You knew it would be good, but it was that much better.
I'm disappointed that he left the band. He was the only exciting part of it when we saw them at M3.
Come on. That's true. I don't think he fit totally vocally. I think he tried to. I don't know.
He was definitely overcompensating. I think but I blame it on the other members not being trying to match his level. They were like cardboard as compared to.
They were like slugs up there. Yeah, like Alex Grossi. No disrespect, he's a fantastic musician. But live, he's just it honestly looks like he'd rather be fucking anywhere else than up on that stage playing them songs.
Is it over yet?
Yeah, at M3, it was what the fuck? And in the last time we saw him before that, it was the same thing. So he hasn't improved. Bring fucking Carlos back.
Carlos!
You want us to be real Quiet Riot fans again? Bring fucking Carlos back. And Rudy Sarzo. Let's go.
And Randy Rhoads.
Let's do it. Yeah, okay. Let's not get crazy done. So and Jizzy Pearl, and we've seen him with Jizzy Pearl. He's a great front man.
He fits better.
He does. I think he does. I really enjoyed them a lot more with him than with James Durbin. Although I liked him live, though. I liked him live. Just vocally, it was a little too screechy for Quiet Riot.
Try to go too high.
Yeah, and if you pick up his solo album that came out,
the first one is fucking crazy.
It's fucking excellent. It's really good.
That's what I mean. And there was comments underneath. It was just posted after all this was announced. Why does he sing Quiet Riot like he does on a solo album? And it's true.
Right.
It's much like the Gary Cherone problem in Van Halen.
That's a big problem. Yeah. Okay. And news that is good news for me. Some people will probably be like, what the fuck? David Lee Roth's going to be doing a residency at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. He's going to start in January. He's going to do a week's worth of shows, I think, and then he's going to do another set of shows in March. It sounds like it's going to be like a rock show. I guess there's going to be 26 songs in a rotating set that he does every night, and 2 guitar players they said he's going to have. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. What do you guys think?
I thought he was going to do lounge singing.
He's done that before.
Dedicated this one to the ladies.
That's summertime's a bit.
No, but the David Lee residency, that should be interesting. I'd be interested to hear what the initial reviews are like for that.
I think it'll be the fan reviews that you have to go by. You can't go by, you know what I mean? Because Rolling Stone will
26 songs. That's gonna be interesting.
If Rolling Stone says it's good, it means it's gonna suck.
Jump 26 times.
Jump over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then what you said, 2 guitars. So.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting. Definitely.
That'd be the first time he's ever had 2 guitars.
Yeah, because when he did solo stuff, it was always one guy. So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And in kind of local news for us, our good friend and supporter of the podcast. We just had him on the podcast last week, actually. Carl Kennedy. BC and I went to see him play live with his solo band. Play their first show ever last week up at the Blues on the Bridge Festival in Binghamton, New York. What do you think, BC?
It was, like I said, I've heard a few songs, but phenomenal sounding. I mean, to me, they were tight. I mean, for not being together too awful long.
No.
But, I mean, sounded great. The vocalist, I don't know where he's been all these years, but phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show. And they actually played the whole album that they have recorded.
And it covers
and they came out for an encore. And they hadn't planned on doing an encore. They did Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest. But the song, like the original songs that they did, was just absolutely kick ass. Like there were people like, who the hell is the, like one dude's like, they sound like Iron Maiden. I didn't think they sound like Iron Maiden, but just great, straightforward, hard rock. Fantastic solos. The vocalist was freaking great. The bass and it was mixed great. It was a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it. It was cool to see Carl. It's always great to see Carl play. Did a kick-ass drum solo, and I want to apologize publicly. I totally fucked up their video. I was supposed to be videoing it, and I kind of dropped the ball for a little bit. So that's on me. But it was just a great show. It was great seeing Carl, great seeing that band. I really hope they get a good record deal. Like I spoke to Carl today, he's shopping it around, and I can't wait for you guys out there to hear this stuff. Because Carl sent me 3 songs a couple weeks ago to check out, and he said, here, I'm going to send you 3 songs, check them out and call me back. So I'm like, okay. So I checked them out, and I was like, holy fuck, like, kick ass, just totally kick ass. And then I played him for BC the next day, and did I play him for you, Dylan?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and I played him for BB also. We were like, holy shit, just kick ass stuff. I can't wait for everybody out there to hear him. Actually, he played. There's a snippet of those 3 songs that he sent me. I think it's on YouTube. If I find the link, I'll share it with you guys. And what else did we do last week, BC?
We went to New York City to see the god Lizzie Borden. I mean, there was other bands there too. But
Finally, BC got to see Lizzie Borden live. And one thing I told BC, I said,
did not pass.
I was glad that at least we got to see Lizzie Borden for the first time together. So it was cool. Take it away, BC. This is your spotlight.
We went to New York City. 3 bands were on the bill. It was Tear. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't forget where they're even from. They're from
like Sweden or Finland or something like that. Because some of the vocals were in whatever language
different
they
language.
speak.
I mean, we're going into the venue, and there was protest. And it's been a long time since I gone to a concert where people have been protesting out front, and they were protesting against the opening band, Tear. Somebody in the band apparently kills dolphins. And I mean, usually
we don't even know if that's even.
I don't know.
We have no idea.
So,
it was just weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. Usually it's about they're devil worshippers or
Well, we here at the Potter Than Hell podcast do not condone killing dolphins.
We do not. We do not. We like dolphins, unless they're the Miami Dolphins. I don't like them.
Dolphin football
Well,
team.
we don't want you killing those guys either.
No.
But they came out, and they're very good, very tight. Just a little too loud, and not that we promote.
Not that we're not saying we're too old, because it's too loud. But it was
to the point of cracking.
It affected the sound quality of the performance.
Down a little bit, and they were a great band. I mean, I was very impressed by them because I never heard of them until they announced this tour. And after them, the Lizzie Borden came out second. I mean, of course, came out as opening with the Midnight Things after his new album, and then it kicked into almost like a
little history lesson of Lizzie Borden, pretty much.
Almost, he took 1 song off every album except for the new one. He did 2 off of, right?
Did he call it a list?
But nothing off of the EP.
Nothing off the EP, unfortunately. I like a lot of things on there. And then Demons Wizards, and I don't know how we never picked up on these guys in the past. I mean, I don't know how. I
never heard of them until they came out with this tour.
No. I mean, and their albums came out originally in
2014, right?
No, I think one was 1999.
John Schaefer, guys, come on.
Who is he from?
Iced Earth.
Iced Earth, okay. And I listened to the albums before we went to the show, and I wasn't digging the vocals. A little too high, but when they played live, he was so much better. I mean, I was very impressed by them. Yeah,
I'll go through them real quick. Tear they were really good. Like I said, they were a little too loud. The songs were cranking though. 2 guitar players were fantastic. Lizzie Borden came out. It was cool. We were up pretty close. I posted some pictures on there. We got the blood. That was whatever it was. It was like so sticky. Like my fingers stuck together. It was like I had a flipper. It was crazy. Yeah, it was strawberry scented.
Strawberry scented, whatever it is.
I'm just glad it was in his hands and he wasn't spitting it out on everybody because I would have been pissed. And it was funny because we were in the bathroom after the show and and like you literally had to wash your hands before you use the bathroom because it'd be like American Pie. I glued myself to myself, and so I'm washing my hands off, and here's a dude that was right in the front. And he's washing his face off, and he's like, "That fucker." He goes, I backed up, and I didn't want, and he said he went past me like he wasn't going to do it, and he said he came right back and he got me, so he was washing it off his face.
You don't sit in the front row and not get the blood.
That's right. So, but it was cool. It was a cool show. It was great to see. He changed costumes and masks like every song, and there were a couple songs where he had different masks on throughout the song, but the band was excellent. I spoke to the one guitar player at the end of the show. I saw him out in the lobby afterwards. Very cool young guy. Great show. It was great to finally see Lizzie Borden, and hopefully we will get to see them play longer on the Monsters of Rock cruise coming up. And Demons and Wizards, they were great, and you had to see this crowd. This crowd was they were singing everything. I was like, how do we not know these songs? The crowd was just going fucking crazy. It was excellent. It sounded great. And like BC said, vocally way better live than on the albums. So definitely check them out. And Dylan, you got one more thing.
Yeah, actually, when this is coming out yesterday, our good friend who we talked about not 5 minutes ago, Carl Kennedy, was presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Steamtown Music Awards in Scranton. Really cool honor. He absolutely deserves it. Here's a quote from Joe Cavison, a good friend of ours and the organizer of the Steamtown Music Awards and the Electric City Music Conference, which is going on this weekend that the episode is being released. He said, Carl's name has come up every year that we've presented the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he's always been beyond deserving. Not only did the Rods achieve outstanding success in the 80s, they still have a cult following today. Not to mention his producing career. Your favorite metal and thrash bands have undoubtedly been influenced by him, whether you know it or not. I feel like every time I log into Facebook, I see a post about Carl jetting off for Europe to play in front of tens of thousands of people at an open-air festival. And that was from the NEPAscene.com, which is a great publication that Rich Howell runs it. Really great. But it's really awesome Carl gets this award. And we are alum of the Steamtown Music Awards.
We are.
Having won Podcast of the Year last year.
Yep.
And I won Music Journalist of the Year a couple years ago. But it's awesome that Carl's getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. He absolutely deserves it.
Again, yeah, it's very awesome that Carl's finally getting recognition for the awesome drummer he is. And not only drumming, but producer and all that. But I love his style of drumming. He's very old school, I guess you would
Not
say.
over the top,
Not
but
over the
very
top,
tastefully
and
drum fills.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations, Carl. We love you here. I actually spoke to Carl on the phone today, and he was actually asking me what the lowdown with the award ceremony was and how it kind of ran and stuff. And I told him, I said, if you're doing the red carpet, get there early because there was a shitload last year that didn't get on. They literally cut the line off, like the group after us.
Yeah.
And there were like 15 bands and people that they didn't even get to talk to.
And honestly, they were probably a lot more sober than we were when they talked to us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I feel bad that they weren't able to get on the red carpet.
Yeah. So congratulations, Carl. Well deserved. And once he gets his record out there, we will have him back on. And we're working on something else with Carl too that's going to be very interesting. So that's all we got for the news this week, and we'll slide right back into the show. It's always fun doing the news, isn't it, BC?
I love it.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad. It's it's like Forrest Gump. It's like the news is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and let's get into our main event for the week. And we're gonna talk about the last couple months. We did the 70s in July. We did the 80s in August. We're not going to do a full month of 90s stuff, but we're just going to throw a little 90s thing in there for this episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Rods episode that we did. That BC and I did the interview. We went up and talked to David and Carl up in New York. It was our first road trip for me in BC to record, and we have another state under our belt. We've recorded in Virginia. We've recorded in South Carolina. We've recorded, obviously, in Pennsylvania. Now we got New York and Oh, and Nashville actually. So yeah, we recorded twice in Nashville.
Technically, it's their second road trip. Second road trip recorded. Or third.
That's Well, I mean, just me and you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just me and you. And if there's any problems with the sound of the recording, that's all on me because I recorded that one again. I did remember to turn the volume off on the computer while I was recording, and there was no click track playing, so that was a plus. Lesson learned. And it was funny because like BB's like, I keep on hearing this fucking clicking. What is that? I'm like, I don't know. And so that gave Dylan a little heebie-jeebies there while he was trying to edit everything. But hope you guys enjoyed the Rods episode. If you have not checked out their new album, Brotherhood of Metal, get out there and get it because it is kick-ass, absolutely great. No skippers on there for me, and just a great album. It was great talking to those guys. Just super, super nice guys. And after we recorded, we went to David's restaurant in Cortland, New York. It's called Hollywood, and we went there. We had a great dinner there. If you're in the Cortland, New York area, stop in this restaurant. The food was freaking fantastic. We had a great time shooting the shit after that. And after we recorded, David showed us around their lair or whatever you want to call it, where they record. And there was a ton of like Dio stuff, like pictures of Ronnie. And David showed me they did a Dio auction a couple years ago, and he went to the auction with Wendy Dio, and he has the book, and he wrote in like, and it's a thick book. It's almost kind of like you used to look at the Sears catalog. It was like that much shit in it. There was like, thick. I think he said there was over 1,000 things in there, like old guitars and microphones and costumes and guitars and. Like everything, and it was all. I think it all went to the Stand Up and Shout charity for Stand Up for Cancer. I think it is, and he was showing us some stuff in there, just absolutely amazing. And I posted a picture on Facebook. I'll post it again. BC and I were actually standing in the room where Ronnie James Dio probably recorded his last vocals. It was like I walked in that room and I just got chills. It was because they have an old control room, and the room now that they used to do the vocals in is David's like guitar workshop, but it still has all the Dio pictures and everything in there, and pictures of him and Elf and everything like that. But it was kind of crazy being in that room, wasn't it, BC?
Oh, just everything on the walls, like you said, the pictures from back in the day, and in the Rod stuff from all the shows they did overseas, festivals and stuff. It was very interesting, very cool to check out.
Yeah, and old concert posters. There was one with what was it, Judas Priest, I think Anvil, and the Rods, and tickets were like $9.50 or something like that. It's like
something crazy.
Fucking crazy. You can't even get a beer at a venue now for $9.50. So it was great. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. We certainly did, and thanks again to David and Carl, and they have a great fan base, the Rods, and hopefully you guys out there can check out their album and become part of that fan base because they're really a great band, and they have a great history. And hey, I've always said it, Metallica opened up for them back in the day, and
true.
So definitely check those out. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So 90s replacement singers we're going to talk about today. We were kind of back and forth of which ones we were going to do. So some good, some not so good. Depending, some people may actually like some of this stuff. So we'll see. Dylan, we'll let you take this first one. BB was supposed to take this first one, but he had he did the Marsha Brady. Something suddenly came up, so Dylan's going to take over for this album. And
Marsha.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first album that we're going to be talking about, and speaking of 90s, don't worry, we will be doing a 90s month next year. We just wanted to break up the theme months because we have a really awesome theme coming next month, and we want to make sure that we have some regular episodes to diversify.
We need to cleanse our palate.
Yeah, exactly. But for all you 90s heads out there, we will be covering the 90s more in depth. Okay, so the first album that we're going to be talking about today, a little divisive when it came out and still to this day, Van Halen 3 from the band Van Halen. A little background before we get into the album proper. So They had released Balance in 1995 with Sammy Hagar, and they were touring with Bon Jovi. And then they came out with the Live Right Here, Right Now album, which we've covered in the past. Fantastic album.
It's okay.
The band started to break down when they were recording songs for the film Twister. Eddie and Alex were being a little dictatorial. Dictatorial, that's it. And Sammy had to go home because I believe his child was being born in Hawaii. And when he was home, Eddie decided to retitle the song Humans Being and wrote the melody for it without Sammy's input. So things kind of broke down from that, and they really didn't get along when they were creating the compilation album. So Sammy left the band. There was a temporary 5-second reunion with David Lee Roth where he came back in to record, I think, 2 songs for the Greatest Hits album. And then they appeared at the MTV Music Awards.
Songs.
And after the MTV Music Awards, everyone's like, oh my God, Dave's back. And Dave's like, no, I'm not back. I was basically used for publicity, and I am not reuniting with those assholes. So they decided to keep looking. They were auditioning different people while they were in talks with Roth. Mitch Malloy, one of them, one of our favorite singers.
Mitch Malloy, baby.
But they eventually settled upon extreme singer Gary Cherone. And they went into the studio to record Van Halen 3. So Van Halen 3 comes out in 1998. It was recorded at 5150 Studios in Studio City, California. It was produced by Mike Post, who is a pretty prolific producer. And let me tell you what he's done, and composer too. Here's his credentials. He did the Law & Order theme song, the Law & Order SVU theme song, the A-Team theme song, the NYPD Blue theme song, the Rockford Files theme song, Quantum Leap, Magnum P.I., LA Law, Renegade, Hill Street Blues. So you could tell off the bat that this guy is not a rock producer.
I was going to say that. I didn't hear any rock shit in there.
Those are all TV themes. So it's very interesting that they got a TV composer to produce this album. And the second producer, which I think is the true producer, is Eddie Van Halen. Go figure. Before we came into this episode, I was watching this really interesting video on YouTube called Train Records. And it's a series done by a YouTuber called Todd in the Shadows. And he covered the making of Van Halen 3. And it was very interesting. He also does one on Kilroy Was Here. Fantastic. But he brought up a really interesting point that the way that Sammy did songs with the band was Eddie would come up with the riffs and stuff, but Sammy was kind of putting the music together in a cohesive way and forming the structure of the song. And you could tell that nobody's forming the structure of these songs at all because they are all over the place. There's even a song that is sung by Eddie Van Halen that ends the album.
But fucking brutal.
Let's go through
flashbacks of Tommy Lee and Brandon or whatever.
Yeah, she's your mom.
So, and I also found it really interesting the track timing, the runtime for this. So I'm gonna go through the runtimes of the other Van Halen albums. So first Van Halen album, 35 minutes. Second one's 31 minutes. Woman and Children, 33 minutes. Fair Warning, 31 minutes. Diver Down, 31 minutes. 1984, 33 minutes. 5150 hops up to 43 minutes. OU 812 is 50 minutes. Unlawful Carnal is 52 minutes. Balance is 53 minutes. This album is 65 minutes and 22 seconds. That's a half hour longer than any Dave album besides the one that recently came, a different kind of Truth.
It's like double of a Dave album.
Yeah, and it's 12 minutes longer than the longest Sammy
Twice
album.
as shitty.
Yeah, and there's nothing of substance in this album, I don't think. It starts off with New World, which is an instrumental, bland, nothing to it.
How do you open an album like that?
Without You has Gary sounding very uncannily similar to Sammy for some reason. And it's weird because he sounds great with Extreme. I love how he sings with Extreme. I don't like how he sings on this album. It sounds like he's trying too hard to be Sammy Hagar. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about it, but it's astonishing how much he's hitting the Sammy notes, and it seems like he's straining most of the album to hit those notes. I don't know why. But Without You is a mess. There's so many things going on in and like it changes tempos, and I think one of the greatest sins of this album is you can't hear the bass and you can't hear the background vocals from Michael Anthony. Michael Anthony only played bass on 3 songs, I think, on this album. And
there's a couple songs where the background vocals stand out. Very few though.
Yeah, but like for the most part,
I'll go over When I Do Mine.
One I Want. So I picked out the lyrics for One I Want, and I'm going to read them to you guys. Poor man, he just wants a little. Rich man wants a little bit more. Superman, he's looking for Lois. Salesman, try and sell you his soul. Fat man, he's ordering seconds. Pizza man, just want a slice. Bad man, looking for attention. A good man, he's hard to find. Mailman, looking more like your daughter. Like, what are these lyrics? Who wrote these? That's ridiculous.
And they bust on Dave. They bust on Dave Lee Roth. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
These are terrible. And the one thing that this album also tries to do, especially on Ballad of the Bullet, it tries to be political. And when I think of Van Halen, that word doesn't even come close.
That's the last thing you're thinking of.
Like, I'm thinking of like party songs or songs about love or songs about women. That's what I think about with Van Halen. I don't think about, you gotta go out and vote and freedom. I'm like, what the hell is this? All these songs are forgettable. It's ridiculous how lackluster the production is on this song, on these albums. This album, let alone anything. And I don't even want to go track by track because I don't think it's worth it. But I do want to put out lyrics for Fire in the Hall, which I think is musically probably the best song. But that's a low bar to clear. But the lyrics for Fire in the Hall. In a word to the wisdom tooth, to tell or not the truth. Yeah. So open up and say amen. Rinse cup and spit again. What does that mean?
Is this the song at the dentist office or what?
In a word to the wisdom tooth. This was not good. I tried to find good things in any album I listened to. I couldn't find much in this one.
Van Halen 3, what do you got, BC? Come on, you liked this one, didn't you?
I listened to it 2.5 times. Maybe 2 times total, I guess. I could not get into it. It's just, at this point, going back to 1998, I was checked out on Van Halen at this point. Like, you guys hit it already on the head. I mean, there's nothing that says, ooh, this is like at least 2 or 3 that were good.
Yeah.
There's nothing good on this album, to me at least. I mean, and I love Gary Cerrone at extreme. But he did not fit Van Halen in a remote way at all, in my opinion. And just, I did like Eddie Van Halen. He's too much in that weird. I guess as soon as I hear that stuff, it turns me right off.
Yeah.
And I was turned off this so many times.
What's your favorite song, BC?
None. There's nothing that really.
Okay.
Usually stuff like this. I mean, eventually, after a while, you're like, you know what, that's not too bad, you know?
Yeah.
Like 5150. I mean, I enjoy that album nowadays.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I was like,
it's good.
oh my God, what are they doing? But now it's a really good album. This, on the other hand, no.
It's just meandering. It feels like it's trying to find a point, and it can't.
All right, for me, like, Van Halen does not have fucking 8-minute songs.
No, they don't.
I'm sorry. I think I averaged it out. The average song time on this album is like 6 minutes and change, I think.
Yeah, the shortest non-instrumental track is 4:39.
I kind of think of this as maybe as an Eddie Van Halen solo album, maybe.
Yeah.
There's
sorry, correction. It's 5:27 is the shortest non-instrumental.
That's crazy. That's fucking insane, especially for Van Halen. And I don't know which one of you said it. Anybody but you, Dylan. That you go to Van Halen for a good time, for a party. Yeah. I mean, not so much the Sammy stuff because there's a lot of sappy love songs and shit, but there are some good, fun songs from Sammy. I will give that up.
Yeah.
Tons. That's pretty much the staple when Dave was in the band. This is just. I don't know. Well, Gary Cerrone said that he wished that they had done some shows and did a little bit of touring before they got into the studio to record stuff. And I don't disagree with them. I think if they were together in more of a band type situation, but it seems like he's just the guy coming in singing on Eddie's solo album.
Yeah.
Like Michael Anthony played bass on 3 songs. Are you fucking kidding me? So you could tell he was getting the hook out of the band.
And those 3 songs, apparently Eddie dictated how he should play the bass in
Right,
those songs.
right. And
so like,
it's crazy. Like you said, BC, you start out with that New World. Like that tells you how bad this album's going to be. This shitty little stupid New World intro or whatever it is. It's not even good.
It's not. You don't start off an album like that.
If you're going to start off an album like that, at least have it something that builds to a good song. Without You, it's almost like a rap song. And listen to the background vocals in that. They sound like they're recorded underwater. There's like an effect on them.
Yeah.
And there was another album we did a little while ago that had that same kind of thing. It sounds fucking stupid. But I do have to say, The One I Want, I think this is probably like the best song on the album.
Can't get past the lyrics.
I know, but like if you take the lyrics out, the chorus is okay, but the fucking solo in this song is, I think, one of fucking Ed Van Halen's fucking best fucking solos in any Van Halen song. Just if you just skip through the song to the solo, it kicks up. It's got a great tempo change in it, and it's like whammy bar heaven. And that's unusual for him, like to do it as long as he does in this. I think that it's definitely one of his best solos ever. Because this was, I'm listening to this album. I'm like, you're I don't count the first little thing. So you're on the essentially the second song of the album, and you're like, oh god, like. But then as soon as that kicked up, I'm like, ooh, that definitely caught my ear, and
Nothing else.
And then it went back to there's a lot of weird stuff on here. From Afar is just a weird song, and there's weird percussion on this album, like those big, what do they call them, the timpani drums or whatever, like the big orchestra drums, like boom, boom, like wow, you don't put that shit in a Van Halen song, like come on. Like Dirty Water Dog, there's more weird percussion in that song, and the production gets really muddy on this album at times, I think, and it's very convoluted. Like I said, the 6, 7, 8 minute Van Halen songs really, there's a ton of wasted time noodling on this album, just little guitar intros and extras and shit that just they don't fit. It's just so, and if it is true what Dylan said about Sammy, putting the songs together, and I swear to God, I never thought I would say this. I miss Sammy Hagar on this fucking album. I really do, and yes, I did say that. Sonny Pooney and BB.
Cohesion.
They
got to
but
the
these
point.
songs are just like Josephina. That's like the Van Halen version of Wholehearted, and not as good. And I hate that fucking song. Like year to the day, like a lot of wasted noodling on that. A fucking snoozer. It takes 5 minutes for that song to get to the solo. And I did listen to this whole album 3 times with the headphones on, and it really didn't get any better as it went on. And it took to song number 11, Ballad of the Bullet, for there to be an upbeat rocking type song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is going on with this album? You're like almost an hour into this thing, and you don't have any rocking songs. They're all just mid-tempo drivel. I don't know any other way to do it. Like Ballad of the Bullet, it's got some cool shit in it. It's got a little slide guitar in it, and like a kind of unusual solo for Ed. But like Dylan said, I don't want to hear Politics Van Halen. That's what I listen to get away from that shit. How many say I, the Ed Van Halen? What a waste of fucking tape or digital space or whatever you want to. There's a reason why that there's been singers in Van Halen, and if you have any doubt about that, listen to that song and you'll know why, because it's just fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. If I had to rate this on 1 to 10, I would give this maybe a 1.5, and that's for the solo and what I want.
one of the lesser albums we've ever listened to on this podcast.
Yeah. Hey,
It was
but
a
look at it
slog.
this way: it can only get better from here.
It was such a slog. It took so long. Like, if it was at least short, I'd be fine with it. But like,
Half hour, you'd be like, okay.
this is over an hour of my time that I wasted.
And I wasted like 3 hours on this motherfucker. So I'm like, I wanted to.
For
I
lyrics
wanted to
like,
think maybe listen
Pizza
to it.
man, want to get a slice. Word to the wisdom tooth. Like,
Jesus
what the
Christ.
fuck are you
Palmer
trying to
working on
say?
some crack.
Yeah. and I was like, I wanted to listen to it because maybe it's one of them that kind of like when we did the Kiss solo albums, and of course me and BB had to do Peter, Chris, and we did Peter and Ace, I think we did, right?
King.
Yeah.
Or G. Peter and
No, we
did
had
Peter and
Nope.
Ace, and we did Paul and Gene.
Punk.
no.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
Because we
No.
had the Dictators in the band.
Oh, that's right. You did. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe it was kind of like that where once I listened to the Peter Chris album, I remember that I didn't hate it as much as I thought I did, because it kind of there was some stuff in there. It's it's not a total waste album for me now, but that did not happen on this one, because I know I listened to it when it came out, and I was kind of excited.
You own it.
I was kind of excited when hey, Sammy's gone, okay, Gary Sharon's there, ooh, Extreme, they have some good stuff. I'm thinking this has potential to be good, and then you listen to the album, you're like,
No.
it's not really.
Makes you want to get the funk out of there.
Get the fuck
Yeah, so then so it wasn't a grower or a shower, so
At least
didn't get any better.
The album cover was pretty apropos, because you're the fat guy getting hit with the cannonball with how terrible this album
Right.
is.
Yeah, when you're listening to it, that's how you feel like, oh,
it is. I'm sorry, Van Halen guys.
sorry.
A little misstep in the Van Halen catalog, but so let's move on to greener pastures here. So when you talk about Van Halen, you think party, you think great, cool songs, and you didn't get them with this one. So the album that I had to do was I did Judas Priest Jugulator, the first album with Tim Ripper Owens, and you go to Judas Priest for metal. You got it with this album. There's people that I think it's kind of a, and it's funny too because the time frame kind of coincided with Blaze Bayley coming into Iron Maiden, also, and Ripper Owens coming into Judas Priest. The timing was pretty close on them, and I think people hate Ripper Owens just for the fact that he's not Rob Halford. It's just the way that people hate Blaze Bayley that he's not Bruce Dickinson. But the difference is, for me, between Ripper Owens and Blaze Bayley is it was more of a familiar type vocals with Ripper Owens. Everyone knows the story. He came from a Judas Priest tribute band, and he fits the material. I like it. The thing that I don't really like about this album is you don't have the Rob Halford. I won't say the singing, but you don't have the lyrical content that you have had throughout the years with Rob Halford. Like, I think it's lacking in a little bit in that sense. But the album came out in 1997. It's produced by Glenn Tipton, KK Downing, and Sean Lynch. It's 58 minutes long, so it's even shorter than the Van Halen album by like 8 minutes and change maybe. But you don't. And it's a listen. You don't feel that you've listened to this album for an hour. I think when you get done with this album, you're like, oh, that was fucking excellent. Like, I definitely gotta, I listened to it thinking, man, I haven't listened to this album in a while. Like, there's a couple songs I have listened to, but I went back to it and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I listened to this album again. Not the story with the Van Halen one. Track Jugulator, it's got like these banging things, like a little evil sounding vocal thing at the beginning prior to it kicking in. Very heavy song. The solos are like scorching on here. But I did have a problem with this album with some of the soloing. It has this screechy guitar effect on some of the solos that I kind of didn't care for. And I'm not sure if it's Glenn or KK. I don't know. But it has like a screechy quality to it. I kind of like the Priest solos to be a little cleaner, But I mean, that's like my main problem with the album. And if that's the main problem, then that is fine with me. Bloodstained, fucking really heavy, excellent chorus. That has one of them screeching solos in it too. There's massive riffing in there. I like the cadence of the last part of the song is fucking excellent. Dead Meat, kind of a filler song, I think. Too like run of the mill for Maiden. The breakdown is kind of cool in it. Death Row is a fucking monster ass song. Fucking absolutely love that song. Just great. It starts out with the phone call, and the guy's he was hoping for a stay of execution and is denied, and it goes through that. It's fucking excellent. Decapitate. That's a song that I hadn't really listened to very much. It's good. It's got a excuse me, another one of those screechy solos in it. Burn in Hell, another favorite off this album for me. I fucking absolutely love this one. The bass sound is out front in this one. The vocals are great. It's got a great build to it. It's one of them songs that kind of build and build and build. The solo's not like a totally long solo, but it's a very fitting solo. And this is a song that I think that I would love to see Priest do now with Rob Halford singing it. I think this would be out of the material that Priest does with Ripper Owens, Jugulator, and Demolition. I think this is one of the songs that I think would fit perfect with Rob Halford singing. Brain Dead, it starts out with the car crash. It's kind of like Metallica's 1 Part 2, but just like all metal through the whole song. Really good. Abductors is a really cool song. There's some like crazy lyrics in there about aliens like probing your body and all this kind of shit. But all I can think of is South Park with the anal probe. That's all I can fucking think of when he said they probe your mind. I'm thinking they're gonna probe your ass. So that's what I think of when I hear that song. Bullet Train's kind of a convoluted. It's like a mass song for me. I think it's filler for the most part. But the kick up for the solos is crazy. Like the middle part is great. The ending is good, but the first part of the song is kind of eh. Cathedral Spires got a little slow start, then like a crushing riff, a Doomsday song. I think it's a really good ender to this. It's got like a chanting background vocals. It kind of reminds you of the chanting in Sign of the Cross for Maiden. You get that chanting in the beginning. You get that kind of at the end of this album. My bullet points are here. I love Ripper Owens. He doesn't try too hard to be Rob Halford, because there's parts where you could tell he's stretching a little bit, but not too crazy. Very heavy album. The guitars are very crunchy, except for the little screechy solos going on there. Scott Travis, kick ass. Just I really enjoyed this one.
I enjoyed this album tremendously, and if I had to pick 5 albums from Judas Priest to take with me for the rest of my life, this would be in the top 5.
Oh yeah?
Oh hell yeah!
Wow.
I love how, I guess the word would be heavy compared to, not that Judas Priest wasn't, but
It's a good continuation from Painkiller.
Yeah, it's just to me it was a new level, and hey, if you're going to bring somebody to replace Rob Halford, I think Ripper Owens was a good choice. I mean, a lot of people that like him, I don't know why, but of course it's not Rob Halford, so of course people are going to be like, oh, it's not Rob Halford.
Right, if it's not the original, I don't want to hear blah, blah, blah.
I give respect to that, but like you said, you hit some of the Bloodstained, Death Row, Burn in Hell. And the last one, it starts off, but
then they get you.
I mean, and Tim Ripper Owens I love it. He has the low growl, and then the high screams some of them were a little
stretchy.
He was stretching it a little bit, but overall, I mean, this is just a very, you can throw this on and I don't hit this good one. And apparently, last year, Tim Rowland said he pledges to re-record
both albums,
this album and Demolition, because he thinks he was forgotten about him. Like, that's interesting. Why is he going to re-record? I mean,
I don't know.
It doesn't go into detail, but I thought that was interesting when I read that. But overall, this is a great album and a great replacement.
Yeah.
So
an appropriate replacement. They didn't go too crazy getting someone very too different.
Yeah, I really like Ripper in the band as a replacement for Rob Halford. What I'm going to say might sound like I don't like the album, but I really like the album. It's a great album. I have a fantastic time listening to it. It feels like with this album, they're trying very hard to be of the time. It sounds like they're very much trying to be what metal is in 1997.
and they're trying to be edgy, and they're trying to be dark and gritty, and it doesn't come off as honest as I think they want it to, in my eyes. Like it feels like they're not forcing it, but it almost feels like they're trying to be something that they're not.
Trying to be too heavy.
Yeah, they're trying to be too heavy, and I think it works for the most part. There's times where it doesn't for me, but like if you like just look at the lyric, like the names of the songs alone, like Jugulator, Bloodstain, Dead Meat, Death Row, Decapitate, Burden, like it just sounds like it sounds like a garage band like of like 14-year-olds that are like trying to be like really heavy. It's like we're hardcore, man. But I think there's some really awesome things on this album, and I really did enjoy listening to it. I just think that for Priest, it feels like they're going one step farther than they should have, or that, I mean, they pulled it off for the most part, like I said. But and if I had to pick two songs, it'd probably be Bloodstained and Burn in Hell. Those are great songs. Though Burn in Hell is not the Twisted Sister song, so that's disappointing. That would be cool to hear Judas Priest cover that. I feel like they could pull it off.
What song?
Burn in Hell by Twisted Sister.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting...
But I liked the album. It feels like they're trying to be trendy to me.
It does come off a little bit like that, I think, now that you say that, like the titles of the songs. And I think that's the thing for me that I said that I kind of miss the Rob Halford lyrics, because if you look at the end of the album, like all the lyrics were written by Glenn Tipton.
Yeah.
So, and this was his totally taking over the band era.
Yeah.
Because it was like if you read K.K. Downing's book, it was pretty much like the three of them for the longest time, and then Glenn started to take over more and more, and then Rob was in there, and then with Rob Halford gone, KK's on his own, and Glenn Tipton's pretty much running the show. And kind of like when in Kiss, it was all four of them, and then Ace and Peter were kind of on the downs, but at least Ace had Peter with him as kind of a buddy. And then when Peter left, like Ace he's on his own. So, and I think that's where you get Glenn Tipton just like totally taking over the band. He wrote all the lyrics on this. It's a great scorching album, but I do miss the lyricism of Rob Halford on this album. But it's great. It's a fucking rocker.
Yeah,
there's nothing that I really skip on this, and it's a great breath of fresh air after the convoluted mess that Van Halen 3 was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's our first two. So we're gonna take a quick break here. We're gonna come back. We're gonna do our hidden gem.
And actually, we're gonna do something a little different this week.
Are we?
Yeah, we're instead of going right into the hidden gem, we're gonna feature a local artist that we're real big fans of. We're gonna put a song right in the middle, and so you guys can listen to them and check them out. And if you have any music that you would like to submit to have onto the podcast for the little break song, please do. Send it to the potterthanhellpodcast@gmail.com.
All right.
I think we're featuring Reach for the Sky this.
We are. We're going to feature Reach for the Sky, and I think we're going to play the song Peace of Mind, I think.
Okay.
So enjoy Peace of Mind, and we'll be right back with our hidden gem.
Questions might be right. Why is
All right, the hidden gems this week. We will start off with Dylan.
Okay. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Bob Dylan.
Not very.
Okay.
Let's get high.
Well, in 1965, he released a song called Desolation Row. It was 11 minutes and 21 seconds long.
Way too long.
It's a very long song. However, in 2009, the band My Chemical Romance released a cover of it for the soundtrack to the movie Watchmen, which is based off the graphic novel. And it is 3 minutes and 1 second, much shorter. They give it a punk rock flair to it. There's a guitar solo they add into it. It's a fantastic version of a song, and actually I really like this version, I think a little more than the original. So that's my hidden gem, Desolation Row, covered by My Chemical Romance of a Bob Dylan song.
All right, maybe I'll even check that one out. BC, what do you got first?
Well, doing some research, came across, it's really just the guy's name, Tommy Paris Band. It's his guy from Britny Fox that replaced the original guy, and then he came out with his own album, or he calls it his own band, really, but very...
It's good.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I didn't even know, I never heard it was even out until the other day, maybe 3 days ago. I said, yeah, cool. Checked it out. I'm liking it, so I got to delve into it a little bit more, but check it out.
I've checked it out. I thought it was good.
So far, what I heard, I mean, I haven't really sat down.
All right, good one. I'm going to throw out a live album from 1995, and I'm going to stick in the 90s for this one. And it's Scorpions' live album called Live Bites. It was predominantly a lot of the tracks were recorded in Mexico City, a couple in Berlin and San Francisco. But good, and it's got a good mix of Scorpion stuff. It's got none of the stuff that you heard on Worldwide Live, so it's pretty much from after Love at First Sting on, and then there's actually some back tracks that they went back to the older albums on there. You have Tease Me, Please Me. Is anybody there? That's one of the like kind of forgotten songs from Love Drive that we talked about. Just a really cool song. The Rhythm of Love, Entrance from the Entrance album, No Pain, No Gain, When the Smoke is Coming Down from Blackout, Living for Tomorrow. There's like an instrumental thing there, Concerto in 5. And the song on this album for me is fucking Alien Nation. Great fucking Scorpion song. Absolutely love that song. Crazy World, Wind of Change, and then there's three new studio tracks on there: Edge of Time, Heroes Don't Cry, and White Dove, which are not bad. But so check this out. It's a kind of a forgotten live album from the Scorpions, because when you think of Scorpions live, you think of Worldwide Live. But there's a lot of good stuff on this, and there's some different stuff on here that if you're a good Scorpions fan, you know these songs, and if you only know like Blackout and Worldwide Live and Love at First Sting, check this album out, because it's got some good a diverse track list on there. And it's not like a full concert. There's like most of it's recorded in Mexico City, so check it out. It's really cool. So Live Bites, Live Scorpions album for me from 1995. BC's got the Tommy Paris Band solo album, pretty much a solo album, I would say. Yeah. And Dylan's got Desolation Row from My Chemical Romance, a Bob Dylan remake that is mercifully shorter. So check those out. And if you guys have something out there that you would like us to check out, shoot us an email at potterthanhellpodcast.com. Or no, potterthanhellpodcast@gmail.com. Yep. And or message our Facebook page, or message me or BC or Dylan or BB personally, and we'll give it a shot, and we'll give you a good shout out. So we'll get back into our 90s replacement singers, and BC, you are up to the plate.
Up to the plate. I go back to the late 80s. I'm going to start off in the early 90s of mine. And it's very short, like 41 minutes or something. No hour and a half here, boys.
No hour and a half. Short and sweet.
Britny Fox, back in they came out in probably mid to late 80s with their first 2 albums with original vocalist Dean Davison. And then Dizzy Dean. And then he left the band, like I said, typical rock stars back then. They started to butt heads, and he was gone, and then they announced they're coming out with a new album, Bite Down Hard. It was released March of 91.
And if you want to get the story of how that came about, go back and listen to our episode, our interview with Johnny D, the drummer from Britny Fox.
Johnny.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, BC.
No. So where was it? Oh, yeah. Released March of 91 with Tommy Paris is the guy's name. Never heard of him until he came out in this band. And I mean, his vocal range, I think, is way better than Dizzy Dean was. Nothing against it. I mean, it fit the first two albums. Kind of the second album, you can see where his voice was. It fit in some of the songs, in my opinion. But Tommy Paris, he hits everything great on this album. He has a wider range than Dizzy. They open it up with 6 Guns Loaded, which is fucking boom, right in your face rocker. With Zach Wilde doing the solo at the end of the tune. They kick in the next song louder. I like the heavy riff of it. And to me, this not kind of like we talked about Judas Priest being heavier on their one. I think this is continued heavy in my opinion. They like the first album was rock, and the second album got a little bit more rock but poppier. But this is way heavier album from the boys from Philly. Then we go to Liar, acoustic start, and this is where you can hear he's not really just. You can hear it's different. He can tone it down and bring it up to scream and tone it down. Next song, Closer to Your Love. Another hard rocker, which, I mean, some people would say they sound alike, but I don't think there's a skippable song on this. I guess, like, the music I like, and then the vocals put it over the edge for me. Over and Out, you can see he's seen him much lower, and I don't think Dizzy D would be able to do it. Shuffling My Gun, another rocker. Black and White, it's kind of like a little touch of spoken word from Tommy.
We love the spoken word.
And he does the solo on that song, too. Look My Way, again, softer tune vocally. Like a mid-tempo song, which I don't think Dizzy Dean would be able to pull off. And then Lonely Too Long picks it back up, another rocker with Tommy doing a solo, which gave Dizzy Dean played guitar too, but so they didn't lose nothing with the loss of Dizzy Dean. And they do Midnight Moses, a cover of the sensational Alex Harvey band. Never knew that. And then Ricky Rocket guesses on that song too and all that. But a lot of bands do it. Dead Daisies do it, which is, I mean, every time I heard a song, I like it. It's kind of like what's the song? No matter who does it, it's just a good cover. But I think he was a great replacement for the band. But then again, this came out in a bad time, I thought, and got mixed in the shuffle with everything else that came out. 91, 92, 93-ish.
Yeah, in terms of singer to singer, Tommy Paris blows him out of the water. It is not even close how much better of a singer Tommy Paris is. That might be sacrilegious. I don't know if the Britny Fox fans are, but it's
I don't think you have the clamoring of the
it's night and day.
Britny Fox fans for Dizzy Dean to come back.
Like this was, and the one thing that I really the one thing I really loved about this album is it's how brief it is compared to the other albums we did today. Because like all the other ones are like an hour long and like an hour 10, and this one's a nice succinct 41 minutes. And boy, they did not waste a single minute. I love every one of these songs. They're fantastic. I was surprised by how many that I knew, because I heard I'm like, oh, I know Louder, and oh, I know Shot From My Gun. It's like, oh, I know, and I was just recognizing them as I was listening to them.
But they released like a live album after this.
Long Way to Live.
Long Way to Live, and I mean, he's a good frontman, and his vocal range is just so much better than Dean.
Yeah, like Dean has that grittiness,
like raspy,
but,
gritty, but
you could only deal with that for so long.
It gets old.
Whereas Tommy, he could do the screaming, and he could do the soft vocals, just like you said. He has the range. I love the solo that Zach Wilde does at the end of 6 Guns Loaded. Really good. But yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this album. I really enjoyed it.
Listening to this album, I've listened to songs here and there because I listened to the live album that BC talked about, Long Way to Live, and that came out in the year 2000, just of recordings that they did with these guys live. And but fucking, this is very, very close to a Desert Island album for me. Absolutely love it. It's such a great, refreshing change from Dizzy Dean there. I like the first two albums, don't get me wrong. I do. I like them. There's some classic stuff on there. But when you hear him sing the songs from the first two albums, you're like, wow. Wish they had this guy from the beginning. But absolutely love it. Six Guns Loaded, like a rip rocker right out of the gate. Great background vocals, excellent solo. Like BC said, Zakk Wylde plays an outro solo on that one. Louder. This song is one of my favorite Britny Fox songs. If you listen to it on the live album, they get this this like big screaming intro to it, and it kicks in. It's just a great one of those kind of great driving songs. It's great live. The solo's great. The chorus is excellent. The outro solo is fantastic. Liar, just a little jangly acoustic beginning to it. Then the song kind of just takes off into an awesome groove. Closer to Your Love, straight up rocker. Love the chorus, love the vocals. Like Tommy Paris shows some, between these rocking songs and the kind of mid-tempo mellower songs, just a really good vocal range. No really straining, over and out, like mellower, good vocals. Let you kind of catch your breath after the first four songs. What?
Oh, I was looking. I went to add Long Way to Live on Apple Music, and they list "Shot from My Gun" as "Shot from My Guy."
I saw that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, little typo there from "Shot from My Guy."
Shot from my guy.
We'll leave that lay right where it is on the table there. And actually, that's the song I was going to talk about. "Shot from My Gun." Just picks up right where it left off before the mellower tune. Black and White, a really good song. I like the cadence in it. The verses are very good. The vocals are I don't know if you listen to this on Apple Music. The second verse is so low you can't even hear it. I don't know what the deal is with it. I don't know if it's like that on the regular recording or not. I'm gonna have to bust out my CD and listen to it if it's like that on the actual CD, because you can't hear the fucking vocals at all. It's so muffled and low. The music is the same, but the vocals, it's fucked up on the recording, at least on Apple Music anyways. Where am I at here? Look My Way. They crank it down a little bit again on this one, but the solo's good in it. The vocals are really good fitting on there. Lonely Too Long, back to the rocking, pretty much like a Britny Fox signature type song. Really good solos in it. Great outro solo. And Midnight Mo's, like you said, BC, great song, great groove, and it's one of those songs that you hear not a lot, but it's one of them that you instantly pick up on it, that you've heard this song before. A bunch of different people do it. Just a amazing album. I have written down Dizzy Who, massive improvement. Love the vocals. And Johnny D, listen to the drums on this album. Fucking phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And the lead work between Tommy Paris and Michael Kelly Smith are just fucking kick-ass. Just a great overall album. This is just shy of a Desert Island album for me.
Talking about the drums real quick. I mean, every album, I think, he has such a distinctive style of playing, and the sound on every album, to me, the drums always sounded great on every album. Especially this one.
I totally agree. Absolutely, totally agree. And I on our episode that we did with Sonny, the 80s songs, I picked Girls' School, and you have that double tap on the snare that is just signature. Like, you instantly know it, and everyone that knows that song is just doing the either the air drum to it or a clap to it. So Johnny D, we love you, buddy. We're gonna get Johnny D back on here. We're gonna talk about some Doro stuff and what he's got going on now, coming up down the road. I've been in contact with him back and forth, so we're still in contact with Johnny D, and he's on the road right now with Doro in Europe. And so we will get back with him. And just a great album. One that I think this is the one that I threw out there, I think. That we were kind of looking for a different album. What one were we going to do instead of this one? We were going to do something.
It was going to be Cowboys from Hell.
We're going to do Cowboys from Hell, Pantera.
Since technically Terry Glaze was the singer until...
Yeah. But we're saving Pantera for just a Pantera episode. I don't want to just do like one album. We'll do something with Pantera coming up.
Those are two completely different singers.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah!
Some
Yeah, talk
momentary
about a
differences.
total shift in direction. That's and not in a bad way. Some bands, it doesn't happen in a good way, but it definitely happened in a good way with Pantera.
No.
And all right, Dylan, you got the last one today.
I do. Go figure. The one band that Dylan threw out for this was Anthrax.
I think this was the first one mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, why don't we do Sound of White Noise from Anthrax? Little background. So in 1991 they came out with the compilation album Attack of the Killer Bees, which is our nickname for BB and BC. And they did like a new version of. They finally recorded "Bring the Noise," the cover of Public Enemy that they've been doing live, and I guess they had some differences with Joey Belladonna, and he was fired over creative and stylistic differences. Weird that the two bands that I was covering broke up over a compilation album, or soon after a compilation album. So they were auditioning a couple different vocalists. Mark Osegueda from Death Angel and Spike Xavier of Mind Over 4 were some people that were put into contention, but they discovered that, hey, Armored Saint just broke up. Why don't we get John Bush? Because I believe they had been thinking of John Bush as a potential replacement a couple years back when Joey Belladonna had some drug and alcohol problems, and they were thinking of tapping John Bush to take his place back then, but the timing lined up perfectly this time, and Armored Saint was out, and he just went right into Anthrax. And
he was a hot commodity because James Hetfield wanted him to sing in Metallica also at one point.
Yep. Yeah, it's fantastic that John Bush is wanted so much by all these bands. But they recorded it throughout 1992, and it came out May 25th, 1993. It is the last album to feature Dan Spitz on lead guitar, and it was produced by Anthrax and Dave Jordan, who you might know as the producer of, Ritual de lo Habitual from Jane's Addiction. He did Symbol of Salvation for Armored Saint. He did Dirt from Alice in Chains, fantastic album, and a bunch of other different things, a couple of Offspring albums, but a more apropos producer than the one for Van Halen, I think. And there's a little bit of grunge influence you can hear in this album. They're moving past the thrash a little bit. There's still some thrashy songs, but it's more of a darker, grungish thing. There's some Armored Saint influence in there you can hear from John Bush. Really cool thing that I always loved was the song Black Lodge, based off of Twin Peaks. And they actually got the composer from Twin Peaks, Angelo Badalamenti, to help with some of the composition of it and provide some instruments for that song. So it's really cool that they were able to get that. But honestly, this is a pretty good album front to back. Potter's Field's a really cool opener. Starts off with that like radio broadcast. It's almost like the thing, and then it has like a slow build up to this awesome heavy ass riff. Really good intro song for John Bush. And then the second song, Only, of course, probably the most famous of the Bush era Anthrax songs. The one that Joey Belladonna sometimes even does
He
live.
refuses to do now.
Yeah, he used to though. He used to do it. Room for One More, awesome, punchy in the face song, really good. Package Rebellion's fantastic as well. I really like High Pro Glow. That's a nice bouncy song. It's got a good lilt to it that I think really works. Invisible's fantastic. 1,000 Points of Hate's great. Black Lodge is a moody song that really captures some of the Twin Peaks weirdness to it. Sodium Pentothal. I really love this song. This was probably my favorite track off the album, actually. Of course, that's what they used to use for the Lethal Injections. So, it's a fun time with that song. But then Burst is a really good one. And this is not an exit. It's a fantastic closing track for the album. There's some bonus tracks. I mean, they do a cover of A Feed a Saint from Cheap Trick. That's really cool. They do a Thin Lizzy song, Cowboy song. And it was because I was listening to it, and I'm like, wow, this is a really bright, chipper Anthrax song. And then, it's Thin Lizzy, that's why.
Wait a minute.
And then they do a cover of the Smiths' London. But honestly, this is a really good album, a good starter album for John Bush. I think I like Stomp 442 a little better, just personally. But in terms of John Bush compared to Joey Belladonna, John definitely has a lower vocal register than Joey does. But I think it works for the music that they're going with. And this seems more of a natural progression as opposed to Judas Priest, where it seems like it was a little too hard. But I think this works as a progression for the band. And honestly, I mean, I like the Joey Belladonna era better, but I do like John Bush as a vocalist for Anthrax, and I do like his versions of the songs that were Joey Belladonna, because it was the greater of two evils. He re-recorded all the popular Joey Belladonna songs, and I like those versions a lot.
I enjoyed this album. I love John Bush. I've said that from we started recording. Absolutely love John Bush. I like the direction that Anthrax is going in at this point. Great album. I like it. And the thing about it, I didn't even notice that I was looking through our the great Wikipedia, and this album actually came out on the exact day that I got hired in the fire department.
Huh.
So this album is as old as my career in the Carbondale Fire Department. Potter's Field is cool. It's a great Scott Ian, what I call it, the Scott Stomp.
The Stomper.
This great Scott stomping song. And it's actually a good start. It's got it kind of just lets you know what the Anthrax is about at this point. Only one of the great Anthrax songs, like you said, the one they're most known for. It's kind of melodic for Anthrax.
Yep.
It really is. It's really good. Love the solo in it. I love the wah pedal, the wah 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 wah. I fucking love that. Like at the right before it goes back into the thing. Room for One More, just another great Scott Stomp song. The drums are fantastic in there. The chorus is great, and I actually do like Dan Spitz's solos on this album, which
it's his last album.
In the past I kind of ragged on him a little bit. Package Rebellion is kind of a forgettable song for me. The solo in it is great though. Way to go, Dan. High Pro Glow. I love the groove to this song. It's just a fucking great one. Invisible is another friggin' excellent rocker. The solos, actually he went back to his old ways. Kind of a letdown in the solo for that one. The last part was good though. 1,000 Points of Hate. I think this is one of the songs that is more old school Anthrax on the album. And the solo's got a kind of a different sound now. It's got like the bass is out front on this one. It's got a monster riff. I think it's like really a good old school Anthrax type song. Yeah, so Black Lodge, it's really different for Anthrax. Kind of a meh song for me. It's pretty much a skipper for me. I don't really like it.
Wow.
I don't. Sodium Pentothal, great rocker. I love the chorus in it. I love the God do it. I fucking love that on there. One of my favorite songs on the album. Burst, that's a meh for me. This is not an exit. It's okay. It picks up like halfway through it, I think. Definitely not a Desert Island album for me, but I think it's a good foundation for Anthrax with John Bush and the band. I'm going to have to give Stomp 442 another listen after listening to this album, because I haven't listened to that one in a while either. But I like it, though. I like the direction of the band. It's a good start with John Bush. Last album for Dan Spitz, and then they take it from there, and it's a good era, because like when you had Gary Cherone and Van Halen one album, you had Ripper Owens and Priest for 2 albums plus 2 live albums too, which they put out with Ripper Owens, and then you have 3 studio albums for Anthrax with John Bush and 1 live album. Thank God nothing else with Gary besides that train wreck that fucking album was.
I would be interested to hear a live album, though, from Gary and see how he does other songs.
When they toured with that, Michael Anthony sang a lot. They did some like old Van Halen songs, and Michael Anthony did the vocals for those songs. Like they did like Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Michael Anthony sang those songs.
Because I'd be interested to hear like what kind of songs were done for the Gary Cherone era, because I'm sure it was a mix of all 3 eras.
And they played montage here, and they played Scranton with Gary Cherone. We didn't go.
No.
I think BB went, and he said it was good because Michael Anthony sang not a lot of the songs, but maybe a third of the songs. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I think it would have been interesting to see. Because,
Yep.
I mean, whether you like Gary Cherone or not in Van Halen, he is still an awesome live performer.
Yeah, he's great.
He is a great front man, and I'm kind
His
of
calisthenics.
yeah, I'm kind of kicking
the
myself
riser.
in the ass for not going to that just to see how it was. I should have went just to say fuck it and just to go and check it out, but I did not. That was at the old Montage BC. That was like the first one over on the fucking ski slope. So yeah, so what do you think, BC?
John Bush.
There you go.
Yeah, to give that in there. I mean, a lot of people don't like John Bush era. I don't know why. I mean, he's a phenomenal vocalist. And I think if they're going to replace the original guy, I was happy and bummed out at the same time hearing this because I love John Bush, but in the same token, they weren't going to be doing no more Armored Saint material.
Right.
So it's kind of a love-hate at first. Like, God damn, but fucking cool. And not to keep this dragging out, but I mean, he's just a phenomenal vocalist.
He kicks it up.
And I love it. And like you said, he fit them good. I think he gave more of a range too. Like, I like Joey Belladonna era too, but John Bush had such another element that Joey did have.
And he brought a different vibe to the band.
A
too.
different vibe.
Yeah,
It was
that's
more.
true.
He's such a front man to me. I don't know.
And it kind of seemed to me like
He can join Loverboy and it'd be good. How's that?
that'd be interesting. That would definitely be
That's a
interesting.
statement, people.
But it seemed like that his interaction with the band on stage was more pronounced than with Joey Belladonna. I don't know. I mean, it's probably just me thinking that,
No, you can see it.
but
I can definitely see
I mean
it.
that definitely seemed like a thing for me.
But to me, this album's great. And I guess Stomp, we talked real quick.
Yeah.
That was like, you can see it going and getting better.
Yeah.
And a lot of people diss that album. I don't know why.
I prefer Stomp 442.
And I love the one where he the Greater Two.
Oh yeah, Greater Two Evils.
I love that. I mean, to me, that's rocking. I mean, I just love those tunes.
I wish
Maybe
it was
because it's just something new and fresh, maybe.
Right.
But when
Just
that
a new
came
take
out,
on them.
to me, that was great. I mean, like I said, John Bush.
Kick ass.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right, guys. There's our 4 replacement singer albums. We have the Diverse Van Halen 3. We have Judas Priest Jugulator. We have Britny Fox Bite Down Hard and Anthrax Sound of White Noise. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Hope you guys, if you haven't listened to those albums, give them a listen to. Let us know what you guys think of them. And if you are a fan of Van Halen 3, let us know why. We really want to know.
They had 4 studio albums with John Bush.
Oh, 4.
Because I forgot about We've Come For You All.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Volume 8.
Yeah,
Was the other one.
volume. Yeah, because volume
Right.
8's right before that.
Okay, my bad. 4. Check out the Britny Fox Bite Down Hard Jugulator and Anthrax Sound of White Noise. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. 3 out of 4 ain't bad, fellas.
Three of these were good. I mean,
Little torture session for everybody for Van Halen 3. I still consider that like an Van Halen solo album. I really do. I think he was just in total control of everything then, and everybody was just go along to get along type deal. And I do agree with Gary Cherone that I think that if they did some touring with him, I think there would have been a little more gelling there. And
I don't think the album's failure is Gary Cherone's failure. I don't
think so either.
Gary
I think
Cherone.
he was thrown in there. Sing these songs.
Yeah, and
here you go.
it didn't work. The lyrics were terrible. He was trying his best, but I don't think it's his fault for the most part.
And musically, it was bleh. There was nothing really.
It's all over the board. There's
Yeah.
just too much noodling and doodling and foodling.
Okay.
All right, guys. Let's give our goodbyes and we'll go around the table. We'll wrap up here, fellas.
I love talking about replacement singers. I think it's interesting to see where a band goes when they have to change singers. Do they keep with the same style? Do they try and get somebody who matches the person that they had previously? What are they going to do? And it's really cool to see what each band does. And I think we've had a good array here. We've had singers that are very close to the original, like Ripper Owens with Rob Halford. We've had singers that are a complete departure, like John Bush and Joey Belladonna, Tommy Paris, completely different. And then we've had singers that they really want them to be the other singer, but they don't quite fit that, like Gary Cherone. We did an episode before about replacement singers, but I like that we went in depth this time. And if I had to rank the albums, it would probably be Britny Fox. That's absolutely number one. Then I go Anthrax, Judas Priest, and way down at the bottom, Van Halen.
Again, this is a fun episode, and got you to listen to some stuff we haven't listened to in quite some time, and right back to the time when it first came out, and it was a great album. I mean,
yeah,
and that's like you hit it right on the head. Some bands try to keep it the same as their old vocalists, and some went totally different. And then some that were,
Yep.
But if I was going to rank these, I'd probably go to Anthrax first, probably Britny Fox, and then Priest, and then of course the mighty VH3 at the end.
Okay.
Mighty.
The mighty, yeah. I had a good time for the most part prepping for this show here today. And this is a playlist I will be deleting off of my phone because, well, number one, Jugulator's not on there to begin with.
Oh,
and
true.
I have Britny Fox. I have it digitally. I have the CD. Anthrax, I have the CD, and I have it digitally. Van Halen 3, same story for both of them, but I will probably never, ever listen to Van Halen 3 again, ever. Unless they get captured by the Taliban or something like that, and they want to get the secrets from me, they'll play this album.
Okay, I'll tell you whatever you want.
Please, no more. And all they have to do is play that last song that that Eddie sings, and I'll give up the codes. But if I had to rank these albums, I would far and away Britny Fox, then Jugulator, then Anthrax, and then of course Van Halen 3 is like Dylan said, like way down, like at the bottom of the steps. The other albums are in the attic, and this one's like the bottom step of the basement, down where the sump pump is, actually down like in that hole. But it was fun nonetheless. It's always fun once in a while to listen to something that like is total fucking torture.
Hey, Pizza Man, he
wants a slice, man. To get this guy a fucking slice of pizza, please. Domino's delivers, please. And so thanks for listening, guys. It was a good time doing this one, and it is actually fucking pouring out right now. Another rainy day for the Potter Than Hell podcast here. Sorry, all the people out there that we ruined your day by recording on a holiday and ruining it with the rain. But just a great time. Thanks for listening, you guys. Keep sharing us out there. We will have a lot of these songs we talked about today on our Spotify playlist. You can find it. We'll put the link on with the show. And hope you enjoyed our other episodes. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Coming up, which I'm really looking forward to getting these shows together in the next couple weeks. And it's going to be fun. And thank you for listening, you guys out there. We love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time. And there definitely will be a next time.